Deep within the emerald meadow, where the grass tickles the bellies of bunnies and the flowers hum in the breeze, lived the peacock. Every morning, the peacock spent hours polishing his magnificent tail. It was a fan of 1,000 eyes, sparkling with the colors of the ocean and the forest. "I am surely the masterpiece of the world," he whispered to the wind, shaking his feathers until they clicked like tiny ceramic plates. The peacock loved to find the quietest puddles after a rainstorm. He would stand perfectly still, staring at his reflection in the crystal-clear water. To him, the blue of his neck was deeper than the summer sky, and the green of his feathers was richer than the oldest moss. He danced a little jig, watching his shimmering image dance along with him. "No one," he sighed happily, "could ever be as beautiful as I." One afternoon, a soft whoosh of air brushed past the meadow. The tall, slender crane landed gracefully by the edge of the pond. Her feathers were the color of soft morning mist, a gentle gray that seemed to hold the secrets of the clouds. The crane moved with a quiet elegance, her long legs stepping softly through the reeds. She didn't look at the water to see herself. She looked at the horizon. The peacock had never seen a bird so plain. He strutted over to the crane, his heavy tail dragging slightly behind him like a royal robe. He wanted to make sure she noticed him. He cleared his throat loudly and began to circle her, making sure his brightest feathers caught the afternoon sun. The crane looked at him and gave a polite, warm smile. "Hello there," she said, her voice as smooth as a river stone. "My dear crane," the peacock said, suddenly spreading his tail into a giant glowing arch. "Do you not find it sad to wear such a dusty coat? Look at me. I have the gold of the sun, the emerald of the deep woods, and the sapphire of the midnight sky all tucked into my wings. I am a walking rainbow, a treasure for all to see." He shook his feathers, and they made a shimmering musical sound. The crane looked at the magnificent display and then down at her own simple wings. "Your feathers are indeed very beautiful," she replied softly. The peacock puffed out his chest even further. "But tell me," the crane continued, "what can you do with such heavy beauty? Can you reach the tops of the pine trees? Can you see where the wind begins?" The peacock looked confused. "Why would I want to leave the ground where everyone can see me?" The crane stretched her long, gray wings wide. They weren't bright, but they were strong and wide. Catching the golden light of the setting sun, she felt the cool air lifting her feathers, a feeling she loved more than any mirror. "I may not be a rainbow," she said, "but I am a friend of the clouds. My feathers aren't for looking at, they are for traveling." With a sudden, powerful leap, the crane took to the air. Her wings beat rhythmically, flap, 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 as she rose above the meadow. The peacock watched, his beak hanging open in surprise. He tried to follow her, but his heavy, beautiful tail caught in the bushes. He could only hop a few inches off the ground before landing back in the grass with a dusty thud. Higher and higher the crane flew, until the emerald meadow looked like a tiny green button on the earth. She soared through the cool, crisp air, passing over mountains topped with snow and rivers that looked like silver ribbons. Up there, in the vast blue silence, she felt truly beautiful. She wasn't just a bird, she was a part of the sky itself. Back in the meadow, the peacock sat quietly under a willow tree. He looked at his tail, which still sparkled in the twilight, but it felt a little heavier than before. He realized that while he was a king on the ground, the crane was a queen of the universe. "Beauty is wonderful," he whispered to a passing firefly, "but freedom is the greatest color of all." From that day on, he still loved his feathers, but he always looked up to wave whenever a gray shadow passed over the sun.